Hey there, welcome to Mike's Collection, episode 278. I'm Mike, and the part of my collection that I'm going to be talking about today is all of the action figures that I purchased in the third quarter of 2023. So, what I've been doing this year is rather than just post a best of list at the end of the year, that way, because what I've done in the past is I just show you kind of my top 20 figures of the year, and and that's a pretty normal way to go about it, I guess. But what I decided to do, kind of inspired by Dan Larson's channel Toy Galaxy, where he does the whole process and he eliminates figures one by one, I kind of thought I would bring you guys in on that process and put out all the action figures that I bought in the entire year and eliminate them down to my final 20. So last year in 2022, I did that video at the end of the year, and it was very time consuming because I had close to 400 figures to sift through. I couldn't even fit them all on my desk, and I had to break that video down into 7 videos that I all had to put out right near the end of the year. So it took up a lot of time when I kind of wanted to be doing other family things. So what I've done this year is every quarter I'm doing a video where I post all the action figures that I got for the entire quarter. I eliminate it down to a small number of, say 15 to 20 action figures, and those 15 to 20 will advance to the final video that I post at the end of the year, where I eliminate out of those final, let's just say there's 20 every video. So I'll have 80 figures left to sift through at the end of the year. So I've already posted videos for my first quarter and my second quarter. So if you haven't checked those out, maybe go do that. But anyway, I'm going to dive right into this. I have just over 100 figures that I've gotten in these past 3 months. This is pretty much every single thing that I bought. There are a handful of figures that I didn't post here. For example, I went to a toy show and I bought some G.I. Joe figures that are like 20 years old. I only have a couple of rules for these lists. Basically, I have to have acquired the action figure. I can't put a figure on my best of list if I didn't get it myself. And also the figure has to be released in this calendar year. So you will see a few figures on my desk here that were actually released in 2022, maybe 2021, but I didn't get them until this year. Those guys, no matter how cool they are automatically eliminated from the list. But I figured with things like the G.I. Joes that were 20 years old, there wasn't really any point of even hauling them out and putting them on the desk. So other than a few old G.I. Joes, I think this is everything I purchased in the last 3 months. It's about 100 figures. I'm going to try and whittle this down to 20 or less. So let's get into it. So here is a quick overview of all the action figures I purchased in the third quarter of 2023. And just like I have done on my prior videos for the first quarter and the second quarter, I'm going to start eliminating figures. And when I'm done, I will hopefully have a nice reasonable number, like under 20, hopefully. And those 20 figures will carry on to the next round. So you can see there's quite a bit of a variety here. Lots of different toy lines. And let's get into it. So as I usually do, I have my reaction figures right up front. So I really like reaction figures. These are the little simple, 5 points of articulation figures produced by Super 7. I do have a couple other ones. This Hulk is actually produced by Hasbro in the same style. And this Ned B from Star Wars is also from Hasbro, done in the Star Wars retro style. But I kind of lump them all together as reaction figures. I love these figures. I love the simple little style of them. But they have to be pretty freaking fantastic to compete with some of these larger, more detailed figures. So it's pretty rare when a reaction figure makes it through. And even though I think these guys here are all neat, like these 5 that you're looking at here, these are all Cobras in their Python Patrol repaints. These are all just repaints of figures I already have in my collection. Some of them I have multiple times. So even though I think they're cool, like Destro here in his crazy green pants and yellow shirt, pretty cool. But these guys are not figure of the year for me. So all of these Python Patrol Cobras, they can go. And just like Cobra, we got Tiger Force repaints of figures that we already had. So all these characters I already have in my collection in their more iconic colors. So as fun as these figures are, none of them are Toy of the Year worthy. So we're going to get rid of all of these Joes, including this G.I. Joe Trooper. And yeah, and this Hulk, he's cool. He probably wouldn't make it through anyway, but he's actually a figure that was released in, I think, 2022, maybe even 2021. I just happened to get him this year, so he's kind of automatically eliminated. Same as Ned B here. I got this guy at a toy show this quarter, but this figure is actually at least a year or two old. So yeah, he doesn't really qualify, so he's got to go too. So now I think the only 3 reaction figures I have left out here are these 3 Godzillas, and I'm not as quick to get rid of them. Now, this Godzilla here, he's pretty cool. He was a convention exclusive, and you see he's chewing on a train here. He's pretty fun, but I have so many Godzillas that this guy doesn't bring enough new to the table that he's going to get eliminated. But when it comes to these 2 here, so we've got Hedorah and Ghidorah. These are the glow-in-the-dark versions of some figures I already have. I am kind of a sucker for these glow-in-the-dark figures. I think it was my first video for the first quarter, a glow-in-the-dark Godzilla figure actually made it through to the finals. And honestly, I think I prefer both of these guys over the Godzilla. So I'm going to eliminate Ghidorah here, because he's cool, but he is, he's just gold, which is his standard colors. But I really think Hedorah here is really interesting. The normal figure is just a really dark, kind of gray. He's just a big pile of muck. But the glow-in-the-dark version here with the green and pinks, he just really pops. He's a lot of fun. So I think he should probably advance, and he can duke it out with Godzilla in the finals. I'm not sure if he's going to make it through, but I'm not going to eliminate him, at least not yet. Here we've got an Axl Rose. So this is from Funko. This is part of their Funko Gold line. I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan. I think this is a really cool looking Axl vinyl figure. There's no articulation or anything on it. My friend Guy bought this for me. I very much appreciate it, but it is not an action figure of the year for me. So yeah, he's going to go. These silly little things over here, these are called Ushis. They are in the same kind of vein as Funko Pops. I actually just bought these guys at the dollar store recently. They're cute and all, but again, they're definitely not action figures of the year. So yeah, these guys are both going to go. Okay, so I would consider those to be the easy cuts. Things are going to start getting a lot harder now, because these are some of my favorite toy lines here. There's a couple, odds and ends in here, but for the most part, we've got Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe. These are all lines that I collect, that I really love. A lot of great characters in here. But, all right, let's start. Right up front here, these are from the Masters of the Universe Revelation toy line, or Masterverse toy line. They're all pretty cool. King Grayskull here, and then you get Savage He-Man, and he came packaged with Orko. As much as I might like these figures, they are all releases from prior years. I think King Grayskull was 2022, and I think this 2-pack was actually 2021. So they do not qualify for my best of the year list. And honestly, I don't really think they would have advanced anyway. So we're going to get rid of those guys. Now we've got some Marvel Legends kind of hiding behind them. Right up front here is Karnak. He is one of the Inhumans. I only bought him because I'm a Marvel junkie, and I just like having all kinds of different characters on my shelf. But this was a guy that I was not willing to pay full price for. Fortunately, I found him marked down, so I got him for like less than half price. But not only is he a character I'm not super passionate about, but I don't think the figure is great. The build is a little wonky, so he's going to go. This animated Kraven. Again, I talked about this guy just recently. I think it was my last video. He's cool from the neck down, but then he's got this crazy head that I just can't get past. So because of that, I think he's got to go. So sorry, Kraven. Now we're going to hold on to the Green Goblin and Mania and the Rose. Here's another Masters of the Universe Revelations figure. This is Andra. She's a cool figure, but she also doesn't qualify because she came out in a prior year. I'm going to keep Chasm and Spider-Man for now. But this guy back here, this is Corsair. This is a character I'm just not that passionate about. It's a really nice looking figure and everything, but yeah, this guy is kind of an X-Men character, and I'm not a big X-Men guy anyway, so he's going to go. Let's see. Where to go next? Here we've got Snake Armor, He-Man. And a good figure, but this is just a repaint of a figure that I already have. So it's just not that new or exciting. Plus I have a million He-Mans already, so like, yeah, he's gonna go. This Captain America. This is Bucky Barnes as Captain America. I just recently got this figure. I like it, but I'm more of a Steve Rogers guy. You know, this costume I find a little bland. It's just black, you know, all the way down here. Even the black boots just run right into the pants. So it's not my favorite costume. So he's going to go. Here we've got Peter Parker and Mary Jane. These are from the animated line, so they're based on the 90s animated cartoon. Both really great figures, but they're basically just civilians, you know, in pretty bad clothing, to be honest with you. These purple pants and cowboy boots. So I'm happy I got these figures, but they are not toy of the year for me, so they're going to go. This is Marvel Boy. This is a character I don't really have much attachment to. The figure is fine, but you know, I need to kind of be passionate about the character as well. So yeah, he's gonna go. All right, making some progress here, but still a long way to go. Let's talk about some of these Transformers. So this here is Orion Pax, which is Optimus Prime before he was Optimus Prime. This is a fine little figure, but I have better Orion Pax figures in my collection already. This guy is kind of small and kind of boring, so yeah, he's gonna go. I actually really like this figure. This is a character I'm not really familiar with. His name is Detritus, and he is a repaint of Hound, who is the better known Transformer Jeep. But again, he's a repaint character I already have. And this guy I don't have any attachment to. I do like he's got a little goatee, which is kind of fun. But yeah, he's going to go too. And I think the same thing would apply to Medics over here. He's a cool figure. I like his colors, but he's a character I don't have any personal attachment to. And it's a retool of previous figures that I already have a couple of times over. So yeah, I think we're going to say goodbye to both Detritus and Medics. We've got a few more Transformers here. We'll get to them momentarily. I'm going to pan over here. I've got a couple of Indiana Jones figures. This is Indiana Jones in his professor outfit from the Last Crusade. And then we've got Tot, I think is how you say that, or Tote. So this is the villain from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm really pleased with both of these figures, but, you know, I've got a few Indiana Jones figures this year, and I already put one Indiana Jones through in one of my prior videos, but that's him wearing his more iconic adventure outfit with the fedora and all that stuff. So I don't think Professor Indiana Jones is going to go through. And same as Tote here. It's a fine figure, but he is just a guy in a suit. It's not particularly exciting, so we're going to get rid of those guys. Now we've got a couple of G.I. Joes over here. This is the Arctic Bat. Now I actually bought this guy twice. I only brought one of them out here to look at. And the reason I bought him twice is because he has two alternate head sculpts, which allow you to really create two very different looking figures. I like both head sculpts. Even though I have multiple versions of the Cobra Bat already, this guy does bring some new stuff to the table with the new head, the new chainsaw attachment, the new paint job. He's pretty sharp. So I'm going to keep him around for a while. Now, Dr. Mindbender, this is a character who, you know, he's really cool. This costume is crazy, but, you know, it's classic. It's kind of iconic. I was really excited to be able to get this figure because he wasn't easy to get. but he was an exclusive from last year, and I missed out on him last year. And then they put another batch of them up for sale this year. So technically, he was not released in 2023. So I have to eliminate him just on principle because he was not released this year. But he's a solid figure, and he is the first one of these figures that might have actually advanced to the end if I could keep him around, but I can't. Okay, we've got a lot of G.I. Joes in here. This quarter was really heavy on the G.I. Joes. You can see so many of them here. They're kind of hard to get to still. Some of them will definitely get eliminated, but... okay, so these Marvel Legends up here. Spidey, this is such a good-looking Spider-Man. So he's going to stick around for a while. Same as Chasm. Both of these figures here are of the character Ben Reilly, which is the clone of Spider-Man. And so this is him when he was Spider-Man, and this was him when he went evil and became Chasm. Both are really cool. Now Mania, this is a female kind of... she was like Venom's apprentice for a while. This is a figure I was pretty excited to get, but she is, rather bland. She is just another Venom-looking figure. Hard to get her into focus here, but yeah. So as excited as I was to get this figure, I think that she's gonna go. The Rose, this is a character I've been waiting years to get. So even though he's just a guy in a suit, he's a character that I have some childhood nostalgia to because he was in some of the first Spider-Man comic books I ever read. So he's going to stick around for a while. All right, maybe I'm going to shuffle these guys around so I have some room to start eliminating some of these other figures. Okay, so these guys over here are safe for now. Low light here. This is the G.I. Joe Night Spotter. He looks really great. Tunnel Rat. He also looks really great. Both of those guys are safe for the time being. So let me just shimmy them out of the way. The Crimson Guard. He looks really cool in these Python Patrol colors. He is also safe for the time being, so we'll hold on to him. This is Alistair Smythe. This is a Spider-Man villain based on the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. He is a stupid-looking character. He's very uninteresting. He doesn't make any sense, but I love it. And he definitely has a chance to advance, so he's going to stick around. Now here we've got Photon. This is from the upcoming Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels. So this character of Photon was introduced in the Scarlet Witch show. She's a character I never liked in the comic books, but I really like this actress's portrayal of her, and I like the look. But again, maybe just because I haven't historically cared about this character, as great as this face sculpt is, like, look at that face, Judge. Like, that looks like a real person. Like, that looks great. But she's not a best of the year for me, so she's going to go. Tarantula. This is a character that's long overdue. He's another Spidey villain. I was excited to get him. But he is rather plain, and his proportions look a little off. A little lanky or something. Anyway, so he's going to go. Okay, there's still some more Marvel Legends to get to, but we've got some of these Masters of the Universe Origins figures up front here, so maybe we'll talk about them. Spikor. Cool character. Happy to get him. This one is really well done. But these figures also have an uphill battle because they're kind of meant to look like the old 80s figures, which were a little simpler. They're a little squatter. They're a little more kid-friendly, so they lack some of that detail. You know, I think for more of collector figures, that's what you would buy the Masterverse figures for. So as much as I love these Origins figures, and I'm buying up all of them, they're just generally not going to be a toy of the year for me. So Spikor, he's going to go. Even less exciting is this guy here. This is what they call the, I think, Palace Guard Infiltrator, because you'll see he's dressed like a Palace Guard, but he's got snake eyes because he is a snake man in disguise. So that's a pretty lazy new figure. So yeah, he's gonna go. Here's another Marvel Legend here. This is Nighthawk. Now this is a pretty cool version of Nighthawk. I like this guy quite a bit. But yeah, yeah, for no really strong reason other than he's just not a character that I really have much attachment to. He's part of the Squadron Supreme. You know, they're kind of cool. They're kind of a Marvel's knockoff version of the Justice League. So this guy here is basically Marvel's Batman. You know, he's cool. And this is maybe one of the best he's ever looked, because there's been multiple versions of this guy over the years. But he's just not Toy of the Year for me, so he's going to go. Now behind him, we have Dusty. I think this is the first G.I. Joe here that I'm ready to eliminate. Not only do we already have a regular version of Dusty, so this guy is a rather bland repaint, but the Dusty figure in general, I think, has some issues. He's not one of my favorites, and I think this one is I like it even less than the standard version. So yeah, he's going to go as well. Okay, so we've got some more Masters of the Universe figures here. Now this here was a 2-pack. This is Teela and Zor, the bird here. And even though you could kind of say Zor is like a pet sidekick and you could lump these together, because of the size of Zor and everything, I would almost consider these two different figures. So it is possible for Teela maybe to get eliminated, but for me to keep Zor, that is if I was a big fan of birds, I guess. But I don't think Zor is it's not a great figure. It doesn't have any articulation, really. It's really simple. And another thing is this Teela and Zor 2-pack, they came out last year. I was just a little late picking them up. So these guys are automatically eliminated anyway. But anyway, so there goes those two. But I do have another bird that was released this year. This is Screech. He is an exact repaint of Zor. I don't know which paint job I like better, but regardless, everything applies to Zor that I just said, or applies to Screech that I just said about Zor. No articulation, very simple, you know, so yeah, he's eliminated. Now, Screech here, he came with Skeletor. Now, I have a million Skeletors in my collection. It would be easy to maybe, you know, eliminate him just because he's another Skeletor. But this guy, he might have had a chance because he has an articulated jaw. I think it's the first Skeletor to have a jaw. You can actually kind of open and close his mouth. But I was a little underwhelmed when I got it and finally opened it up. It kind of just falls open and close like that. Plus, I don't really love the head sculpt on this guy anyway. He doesn't look particularly evil. It's a little bland. So yeah, I'm going to eliminate Skeletor. And I'm also going to eliminate Mekaneck. I like Mekaneck, but I have better versions of him from the Classics line and everything. He came with a vehicle, which could have helped him a little bit, I guess, but it wasn't a vehicle that I really love either, the Road Ripper. So he's going to go too. And then we also have Man-at-Arms in his snake armor. So I like Man-at-Arms. He's not one of my favorite characters, and this is basically just him in a worse paint job. Like, it doesn't look like it goes together very well. The green, the blue, the orange, and the silver. Like, it's colored this way because it's a remake of an action figure from the early 2000s that had these colors, but that doesn't make it any better looking. So yeah, he's going to go. Now, I am a fan of the Snake Men, so I'm reluctant to eliminate Squeeze here, because he's a lot of fun with his big, long, squeezy arms. And then there was a Snake Man multi-pack. So you got these 3 new characters. I think this guy's called Rattlehood, and Naga, and Gorgon, the green guy and the red guy. They're all pretty basic. They're really just mashups of other pieces from other toys previously released. I don't know if any of them will make it through, but I'm not ready to eliminate them just yet. We pan over here. I've got some more G.I. Joes. This Snake Eyes is actually really cool, but it's a repaint of a Snake Eyes I already have. All they've really given him is they've added this new scarf piece. He came with his wolf sidekick, Timber. I didn't bother to bring him out for this because this figure was released last year. I didn't pick it up when it was first released, but I bought it at a discount this year. So, cool figure, but he is automatically eliminated. Some more G.I. Joes. This is Grunt. I really like him. Not ready to get rid of him. Nunchuck. I actually don't have a whole lot of attachment to this character, but he's really cool. Don't want to eliminate him just yet. Scrap Iron. He is really good. The Televiper. He's really good. Crimson Viper. Eels. Man, they're all so good. But behind scrap iron here, I do have the Cobra Valkyries. So this was a 2-pack of female Cobra Troopers. And while I do think they are neat, where they are just, I don't know, it's just more Cobra Troopers for me. I already have lots of Cobra blue shirts. And the novelty of them being female characters, you know, we've had that quite a few times now already. I have some in the 4-inch line. I have some from the reaction figure line. I just don't know if they bring enough new to the table. They're cool. I'm glad I got them. But yeah, I think they're both eliminated. Okay, I've thought about it for a minute, and these Snake Men are just a little too generic. Squeeze is going to stick around for a minute, and Rattle Hood, if any of these kind of generic Snake Men are going to go through, it's going to be him, because his colors are the most interesting. He's got the Cobra hood on his neck, and he's got the spitting venom action. These guys here are just a little too bland. So Naga and Gorgon, they are going to go. Now I've got a couple of Iron Men over here. This is like the version 1 Iron Man. I like this one a lot. I don't know if it's going to make it through. This Iron Man, this is from the Heroes Reborn era. I like this one too, but it's just too similar to all the other Iron Mans I have in my collection. So he's going to go. Here's some more Masters of the Universe Origins figures. These are the Skeleton Warriors. Now, they're pretty neat. I thought this was a cool addition to the Masters of the Universe line, but they're basically the same. They glow in the dark. This guy's got purple armor. This guy's got silver armor. I don't know if these guys would get through, but they're definitely not both making it through. I think I like the purple better than the silver, so he's going to go. I'll let the other guy stick around for a little while. This is the Superman Supermobile. Now, this came out, I think, this year. But regardless, it's a vehicle. I don't really consider vehicles. They really shouldn't qualify for my best action figure of the year list. So I brought it out because I did get it this quarter, but really I think we can push that aside and eliminate that. There we've got, this guy's called Blur. He used to be called the Whizzer. He is another member of the Squadron Supreme. I like this figure. The colors are sharp, but just like with Nighthawk, I just don't have much of an attachment to this character, so I'm going to get rid of him. And now here we have Fisto and Too Bad. These guys are both from the Masterverse line. Fisto, I believe, is a release from 2022, so he's automatically eliminated. Nice figure, though. Too Bad, I don't know. I think he's from this year. And it's a nice figure. He's big. He towers over most of the other figures in this line. But I don't know. There's something about him. He just feels a little gangly or something to me. I find with a lot of these Masterverse figures, their joints feel a little bit loose. Like this guy here, his shoulder armor just kind of floats around awkwardly. There's just something a little awkward about these guys. Like he's fallen over because his ankles are a little loose here. So anyway, for those reasons, he's going to get eliminated as well. A couple of more things hiding in the corner over here. This was a Build-A-Figure. So this guy here is a Marvel Legends figure. His name is Chode or Chod. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. As you can see here, he doesn't really match up because I have the head, the arm, and the leg. But then I didn't buy the other figures to build the rest of him. I just so happened to have pieces from a previously released Abomination figure that allowed me to kind of build this mishmash of a figure. So I figured, even though I really like Chode, and I think if I had him all in his proper colors, he would potentially advance. But I think because he's kind of Frankenstein together here, it kind of takes away from his cool factor, and I should probably eliminate him anyway because it's not actually a full, complete figure. So let's get rid of him. And then you'll see I've got another Masters of the Universe Origins Skeletor back here. This one here is Dragon Blaster Skeletor. He comes with this little dragon that snaps onto his back like so. I haven't reviewed this figure yet. I've had him for a while, and I kind of wanted to do a little unboxing of him during the video when I get around to reviewing him, which is why I've kept him on the package. But there's really nothing particularly special about him. I don't want to talk about him too much because I'll save that for the video. But needless to say, he's not Toy of the Year for me, so I'm going to get rid of him. I've got a couple other ones here I haven't talked about. Godzilla here
from Super 7, Grimlock from Super 7. These guys I quite like. They're going to stick around for a while. This here is Venom the Space Knight. Now this is a Venom figure. He's really cool on his own, but this is just a repackaged version of a figure that I got a couple of years ago. I never would have bought it again, but he came in a 2-pack with Mania, which is a character that I did want. So cool figure. It should almost be eliminated just on its own merits that it was originally released a few years ago. But they did add some new parts. He's got a new head and some new kind of snap-on appendages, which is enough for him to be considered a new figure, I think. But he's not new enough to me. It's too similar to the figure I already had a couple years ago. So Space Knight Venom is going to be eliminated as well. Okay, I've shuffled things around a little bit again. So I've got some Marvel Legends that are waiting in the wings over here. I've got lots of G.I. Joes over here. A couple of Masters of the Universe. So let's talk about some of these Transformers that are left. I like all of these guys. I really like this Mirage figure. I think, like, I saw this figure a while ago and I passed on it in the store and I regretted it for weeks afterwards, and I was really hoping to find another one. I was really excited when I found him again the other day. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's not a classic Mirage. I think if they gave this guy a different name, if it was a different named character, I would say, yeah, this repaint of Mirage is a new character. That might keep him on my list. But because it's Mirage, and these are not his kind of classic iconic colors, I think for that reason I can justify getting rid of him. And similarly with Sideswipe here. This is a really nice paint job on Sideswipe, and I love this base figure of Sideswipe. I have it in multiple colors. I've got it in blue, black, red, yellow, white. I really like this figure, and I'll keep buying it in whatever color they put it out as. But I think if they'd given him a different name and made him a new character, I'd be more excited about it. But as it is now, it's just like it's Sideswiping a change of clothes, essentially. And that allows me to kind of get rid of it, I think. Bombshell, he's one of the Insecticons. I love the Insecticons. Shrapnel was in one of my earlier videos. I think maybe he was the second quarter, and he made it through. I think Kickback, he might have made my list last year for my best of, or at the very least he was a contender. I really thought Bombshell would be a contender too, but there's just something weird about this head shape. I don't think they nailed it. He's got this really big, weird thing the way it sits on his head. And then this seems really high. Like in prior versions, I feel this could be tucked down so it sits lower. I don't know. Like, it's a cool figure. But I think if I put him through to the end, Shrapnel would definitely win out between the two of them. So for that reason, I think I'll let Shrapnel, fight it out for the Insecticons at the end of the year, and Bombshell's going to go. And this guy here, his name is DevCon. Neat looking figure, but I don't have any attachment to this character, and he is a little bland, so we're going to get rid of him. Here's a couple more G.I. Joes I haven't talked about yet. This is Desert Snake Eyes. I think he's really cool. I like these colors, so he's going to stick around. And this is the Snow Serpent. I bought 2 of this figure just because he had so much gear that I wanted to display on him. This one here, you can see he's got a snowboard and everything. He's just a very cool figure. I've always loved the Snow Serpent, so he's definitely going to stick around as well. All right, what else? We've got some Action Force, more Transformers back there. I think we're going to have to shuffle things around again so I have room to really get in close on some of these other figures. You know what? Rather than just continually shuffling things around, I'm going to have to start making some tough cuts here. I like all of these Masters of the Universe Origins figures, but again, when you compare them to some of these G.I. Joes and stuff, there's just really no contest. So these guys are all bright and colorful and fun, but I'm going to eliminate all 3 of these Masters of the Universe guys. I think I'm going to hold on to all these Marvel Legends for now. With the G.I. Joes, all right, the Crimson Viper, I think this is maybe the best that the Viper figure has looked in this red, but I have 5 other Vipers in blue and gray, and And he does have a big negative. His goggles, I hate these goggles. They don't stay on his head at all. They just fall right off. So when you've got a huge strike against you like that, there's no way you're making it to my best of the year list. So he's going to go. So we'll eliminate him. Nunchuck here, even though he's a cool looking figure, he's just not a character that I have any attachment to. He came out in the 90s after I had stopped buying G.I. Joes as a kid. So he's well executed here and everything, but he's just not going to be a best of the year list for me. And Grunt as well. I was really excited to get Grunt, but you know, he is rather plain as far as G.I. Joes go. You know, it's just hard for him to compete with guys like Lowlight and Tunnel Rat that just have a little bit more going on. So I think I'm going to get rid of Grunt as well. Okay, let's pull some of those Transformers that were hiding in the back out to the forefront here. So this here is Cloud Cover. He is one of the Decepticon Seeker Jets. I love the Seekers. And like I said with Sideswipe, I will continue to buy these guys in whatever color they put out. I think they're all great, but it doesn't change the fact that I have multiple versions of this figure. I've got him in brown and purple and maroon and, you know, anyway, he's just, it's a cool new paint job on a figure that I really like, but it just doesn't bring anything really new to the table. So yeah, Cloud Cover is going to go. Bludgeon here is awesome. So Bludgeon is going to stick around. I'll, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure he's going to make it all the way through to the end. And Senator Ratbat here, he is absolutely going to make it through to the end. This guy, I can pretty much guarantee he's going to be on my best of the year list. I absolutely love this figure. I think he's just executed so well. So yeah, this guy is the first figure of this video that I'm going to say is absolutely a lock to make it to the end of this video. He's good to go. This here is Senator Shockwave. This is a cool figure. It's supposed to be Shockwave, the well-known Decepticon character, before he was turned into an evil robot. This is basically when he was still a good guy as a senator. It's a neat idea. It came from the comic books. So did this Megatron from when he worked on the mines before he was like the leader of the Decepticons. I actually wasn't even going to buy this Senator Shockwave. I meant to buy this figure and they sent me this one by mistake. So I kept it. And yeah, it's cool. I like it, but I wasn't even excited enough to initially buy this figure. So yeah, he's not a toy of the year for me. Megatron could have been. I really love the look of this figure and the storyline that it's based on. But you can see if I turn him around, I had to put this stick tack on the back of his knees because his knees are so loose right out of the box. He cannot hold his own weight. He falls over backwards anytime I touch him. So because he's got such a glaring issue, that's going to eliminate Megatron from the list. So here's where we are now. I think I'm down to 27 figures here. So we've talked about most of them. We haven't talked about the only DC figure that I have here for this particular quarter. This is Black Manta. Now this is a really cool looking figure. I don't buy a ton of McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. But I saw this guy in Walmart a little while back and I picked him up and I put him down. I picked him up and I put him down. I just thought this was such a cool design for Black Manta. And a lot of the reason why I don't buy many McFarlane Multiverse figures is their proportions are weird and everything. This guy, I think, looks great. He's got cool sculpted textures and I don't know, I like it a lot. But having said all that, DC Multiverse figures, I'm not a big fan of their scale. As you can see here, he's taller than all my Marvel Legends. I wish that they were just in scale with all my other lines. You know, all these other ones can be mixed together. G.I. Joe, Marvel, Action Force, even Masters of the Universe to some degree. But yeah, so I think based on the scale alone and because, I don't know, I don't really know. Somebody's got to go, and Black Manta, he's going to go. Now, I've mentioned the Action Force guys a few times, but I haven't had a chance to talk about them yet. I got 3 Action Force figures this quarter. All of them were exclusives. So this here is a character, Eclipse, who we already had previously. I reviewed her earlier this year, and she has already made it through to my next round. This is a repaint of her called Warpath Eclipse, where she's got that kind of makeup on her face and she's got a different color outfit. She also came with an alternate screaming head. I haven't talked about any of these figures on my channel because I'm planning on doing a review of these 3 figures soon, so I should probably stop sharing my thoughts now so you guys will still tune in for that video. Anyway, I like all of them. I think Warpath Eclipse has the best chance of going forward. Like, she's got all these cool tattoos and everything on her arm. I really like Condor here. He's kind of an homage to Chuckles from G.I. Joe, who wears the Hawaiian shirt. But I don't think he's going to be Toy of the Year for me. And then the Swarm, I really love the translucent red they used on his shield, on his wings, and on the base and everything. I have a couple of Swarm Troopers in other colors. When the first yellow and black Swarm Trooper came out 2 years ago, that was, I think, my #2 Toy of the Year. Like, it ranked very highly for me. But what's holding this figure back is the head. I just don't really understand this head design. Like, it's got that cool kind of honeycomb pattern on the red translucent part, but then that kind of whitish yellowy chin, it holds it back. So anyway, those 2 figures are going to go, but I am going to keep Eclipse around for a little while. Okay, the last few figures that I haven't addressed yet. So there's 2 Godzillas here. They were both made by Super 7 as part of their Ultimates line. So here is kind of a standard Godzilla figure. He is not without his flaws, but I do love this figure. He's big, and I think he looks great. I'm just a big fan of it. And then they repainted that toy for San Diego Comic-Con in these green comic book colors with the bloody face and everything. And I just think he looks incredible. I don't know which one I like more, to be honest with you, so they're both sticking around. Now, Super 7 also did an Ultimates Grimlock and an Ultimates Bludgeon. There's also Snow Job back there from G.I. Joe, who I haven't talked about yet. I've got him kind of hiding in the back because his backpack is so heavy, he tends to fall backwards a little bit. He's a great figure, though, so he's definitely sticking around for now. Let me haul this Bludgeon out here so we can talk about him. So here are my 2 Bludgeons. It's not often that you get a character like this twice in the same quarter. That might be normal for a character like Snake Eyes or Spider-Man, but Bludgeon is a pretty obscure Transformer. And yeah, so we got 2 different versions of him. This one here from Hasbro that actually transforms into kind of a tank-like thing. And I love this figure. And then you get this one. Now, I can understand, you look at that head and you might think, this guy looks goofy. And he doesn't transform. So, you know, I could totally understand some people not getting it. But this figure, I'm going to talk about it in more detail soon because I haven't done a video yet to review Bludgeon or Grimlock over here. I like them both for different reasons. I think this guy is really cool, and I think he deserves to kind of fight it out at the end. So even though this guy's kind of goofy, he's going to go through. I'm going to say he's my next back with Senator Ratbat. He's going to go through. He's a lock for sure. And so is Grimlock. Again, I won't talk about it too much because I'll talk about it when I do eventually review him, but look at the size of him. He doesn't transform, sure, but he's just like a perfect looking Grimlock from the animated series. It just looks incredible. So yeah, he's a lock. He's going to go through as well. Okay, while I was doing my latest reshuffle, I made some decisions. Both Bludgeons are going through to the finals. So is Grimlock. The Snow Serpent is the first of probably several G.I. Joes that's going to go through. Both Godzillas are going to go through. It's possible they could both make my best of the year list because even though it's the same figure, just repainted, the paint job really changes it up a lot. It's a really cool figure. I love it. And Ratbat. So those guys are the locks so far. And here are all the guys that we're still thinking about. So, all right. I could just say these guys are all going to advance, but like I said, I'd like to try and keep it down to maybe like 15 or so, ideally. I think I'm going to eliminate the Crimson Guard. Again, I really like this paint job, but the Crimson Guard, you know, he's he looks best in crimson, let's be honest. So, cool figure, but yeah, he's going to go. The Televiper, he came with the Trouble Bubble vehicle, which I didn't put down here, but I can quickly show you. He's up here. So there's the Trouble Bubble. I actually bought him twice. So I've got one of them sitting in the Trouble Bubble, and then the other Trouble Bubble is just sitting there. There's my other Snow Serpent, by the way, with his wolf head and all that sort of stuff on there. So he looks pretty cool. Anyway, but Trouble Bubble aside, I think Televiper, he's really great. I think he's going to get by on just his own merits. And one of the reasons I like him so much is because I didn't like the vintage figure, and I think they did a good job at making him cooler than he used to be. So I'm going to say Televiper's a lock. The Eel, I know I didn't talk about him much, but he's incredible. So he's going. So I've got 3 Cobra Troopers advancing. Who else? This is tough. I think the Rose, as much as I'm excited to have this figure, and I think it's a good figure, he's maybe lacking a bit of a neck. His head seems to sit kind of low on his shoulders, and so for that alone, I don't know. Am I ready to get rid of him? It's really tough to say. And you know what? Even with this Warpath Eclipse, I think it looks really cool. But I think if I put her through to the end, I've already put her other version through. I think if I had to choose just one of them, I prefer the one without the face paint. So even though this is a very cool variant, yeah, it's really struggling to focus in here. Yeah, even though this is very cool, I think I would put the other one over top of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and eliminate Warpath Eclipse. Of these figures over here, these are both Ben Reilly, as I mentioned before. This is the first time we've ever got a Chasm figure because it's a relatively new identity for him. And I was really excited to get it. But I don't know, when I look at the two of them together, even though the Spider-Man is kind of a been there, done that, I think it looks better. I really love just the eye shape on the Spider-Man. It really looks like Patrick Gleason's artwork right out of the comic book. I'm just continuously impressed with these really nice Spider-Man figures they keep pumping out. And I feel with the Chasm figure, it could maybe just be a little bit more exciting. I don't know. I thought if one of these two was going to advance, it would have been Chasm instead of Spider-Man. But I think I'm going to say Spider-Man's a lock, and I'm going to eliminate Chasm to my own surprise. And you know what? I'm going to make a tough decision and eliminate Snowjob too. He's got so much gear, these skis, and the way his backpack can hold all of his stuff. He's got snowshoes. It's all very cool, but like I said, it's almost, he's got so much gear, it makes him top heavy. It makes him a little awkward to handle. He falls over on the shelf. And for those reasons, I think I'm going to eliminate him. But he's a great figure and a character that I really like too. Okay, just to recap, I now have 10 locked figures advancing to the final video at the end of the year, and I have 10 that I'm still thinking about. I could put through this final 20, but I think I should make my life easier at the end of the year and try to eliminate a few more now. Man. It is tough. It might be easier to say who's a lock rather than who's eliminated. I didn't necessarily love this Green Goblin figure when I first got it, but he is one of my favorite characters of all time in anything. And it is pretty cool. I like it. I'm going to let him advance. This Iron Man, he's really great, but Iron Man is just not a favorite character of mine. So I think I'm going to get rid of Iron Man, actually. I'm going to say Scrap Iron's a lock. He just looks really cool. He's got a removable helmet when you can see his scarred up face underneath. He's really cool, so he's a lock. I know I almost eliminated the Rose, but he's just a character that I've wanted for so long. And this Desert Snake Eyes, I'm kind of surprised I'm holding on to him, but I really think he looks good. I really like it. What else? You know what? I'm going to eliminate the Arctic Bat. I was really impressed with this guy when I got him. I still am, but I think it's just because I've had so many variations of the Bat over the years. And, you know, he has no personality. He's just a robot drone who just marches forward. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to eliminate him. So, we're getting close here. Is there, like, I mentioned before, I really love this guy. Is there really a chance that he's going to be my best figure of the year or one of my 10 best figures of the year? It seems very unlikely. All right, so with that line of thinking, is he really going to be one of my 10 best figures of the year? I think no. I really like him, but by that logic, I think the same applies to the Rose. Cool figure, super excited to get him, but there's just too many other good figures here and in my prior videos that he has to get past, so I think I'm just going to cut both of these guys. Okay, so I've got 12 locks and 4 that I'm thinking about. Even though this guy seems like he should be the easiest elimination, he's almost in a category of his own. It's like he's not even competing for the same trophy as these guys. He's going to get by just on his own charm. So I'm going to go ahead and say that glow-in-the-dark Hedorah is a lock. And the funny thing with these 3 guys is me and my buddy Chad just did a video where we reviewed all of our new G.I. Joes, and all 3 of these guys were in the video. And I said, out of the whole batch of G.I. Joes that we had, I think Lowlight was the one I was most excited about. But he's the only... I'm thinking of eliminating him and letting the other guys go through. Like, I like Lowlight a lot. But I think one of the things that's a problem for him is there was a really incredible looking Lowlight in the 4-inch G.I. Joe line. And I actually think I liked that guy's head sculpt better. This is one of those figures that where he's got more detail and it's not helping him necessarily. Plus all the cool accessories that he has, like the big rifle case. That's all the same stuff we got in the smaller version a few years back. So I don't think this is necessarily the best Lowlight we've ever got, even though it's a really good Lowlight. With Tunnel Rat here, I think this is definitely the best Tunnel Rat we've ever got. We had some nice ones in the 4-inch scale, but yeah, this guy here, he's just got a lot of gear. I really like him. He had a lot of personality in the G.I. Joe animated movie back in the day. So yeah, I think I'm going to say Tunnel Rat's a lock. Snake Eyes here. I think in one of my prior videos, I already put Commando Snake Eyes in all black through to the end. But I think if it was a competition between this Snake Eyes and the all black Snake Eyes, this guy might have a leg up just because he's something a little different. So I think I'm going to put him through so he can fight it out with the all black Snake Eyes in the final video. And I think I am going to eliminate Lowlight, as painful as that might be. So here we go. This is my best of quarter 3. So I ended up with, I think, 15 figures there. So let me see. So 1 Godzilla, 2 Televiper, 3 Rat-Bat, 4 Eel, 5 Tunnel Rat, 6 Scrap Iron, 7 Green Goblin, 8 Snow Serpent, 9 Godzilla, 10 Bludgeon, 11 Bludgeon, 12 Spider-Man, 13 Snake Eyes, 14 Hedora, and 15 Grimlock. Yep, so there we go. My 15 figures advancing on to the next round.
Okay, so that was my rundown of all the action figures I purchased in the third quarter of 2023. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you haven't checked out the prior two videos, make sure to go back and check out the first quarter and the second quarter, and be sure to come back at the end of the year for my final video where I narrow this down to my top 20 action figures of 2023. And there'll be lots of other videos in the meantime, so be sure to come back and check those out. So if you did enjoy this, please make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of the choices that I made here in this video. It's always nice to hear from you guys. And yeah, that's it. So I'll see you soon. Ciao.